This is Airborne Kingdom. I'm only a short way through the tutorial, but I wanted to jump in here with the stream so that you folks could learn this game along with me. The basic idea is it's a city builder, but your city is floating in the sky and is traveling from place to place. I believe that I've played some games like that are set on the water before. And if I can remember to, maybe I'll throw some cards up so you can look at those. But this one's in the sky, and it's kind of neat. And that's all I know so far, because I'm so early in the process. So right now, I've got this, my very small Airborne Kingdom. I've built some housing blocks over on this side, and some more industrial facilities over here. This is my hangar, which allows me to send airplanes down. You see these balloons down here? This is where people are harvesting food. I've sent some airplanes down to harvest the food, and they're going to come back up with the food, and eventually they're going to sort of exhaust all of this resource down here. I've been kind of having fun playing with the balance, and I don't mean the balance like the game balance. I mean the literal balance of my town. So right now you can see it's pretty level. That's because I've basically been like, as I add sort of industrial buildings to this side, I've been adding housing buildings this side to balance them out. If you let your place get too off kilter, it'll like the morale of your people will suffer, because they're all like basically stumbling downhill in one direction and climbing uphill the other direction, and nobody wants to live in a city like that. I'll tell you, working in downtown Seattle, nobody wants to be in a city like that. So one interesting thing about the city is like the immediate reaction I have to this world is the fact that you're running around exploiting these resources, and the resources go away. You have to keep traveling from place to place, because anywhere you settle down, you're going to exhaust what's there. And it feels like there's this is sort of a little bit of a post-apocalyptic world. Or at least there's a sense that there was this glorious former age where people had flying cities and stuff like that, and they disappeared, and they're lost to history, and now you're only just starting to uncover this technology again. And it feels a little bit foreboding, like, this old society was not able to make it work, and now somehow I think that I'm going to be able to make it work when they failed. Well, why should I think that? And all I can see is myself exploiting resources and making them go away. So it seems, like it's maybe fated to some degree. But so I'm still in a tutorial, so periodically I'll get tutorial messages teaching me new things to try. And so for right now, all I know is that I'm gathering food. I've got, I think, just enough housing for my people. I've got 12 inhabitants, and I've got 12 housing blocks here. I don't know whether they actually want me to literally think of this as being like I've got literally 12 citizens in this city, or if the 12 citizens sort of represent larger numbers. That's... whenever you're making sort of a semi-abstract game like this, deciding how big your numbers are, like how close they hew to reality versus, how sort of symbolic and abstract they are, it's an interesting question. Like, for instance, the SimCity games have always, like, basically knocked 3 zeros off the price tags that they put on things. Like, something that would cost $1 billion only costs $1 million. Something that would cost $1 million only costs $1,000. And they're like, we realize that these numbers are not accurate. And that might actually, I don't even know if 3 zeros is accurate, but you know what I'm saying. They're like, these are not the actual numbers that you deal with when you're, managing a real city, but no one wants to deal with numbers that big. You want to have something that's small enough that you can actually sort of hold the number in your head and work with it. And so I could see them doing a similar thing here, where it's like the smaller discrete numbers let's see here. Well, it is easier to sort of conceive of and work with in your head. Because it looks like... Okay, so I've got them harvesting food, but it looks like I've maxed out my storage for food. So let's... Okay, but before we deal with that, it looks like we've just finished our first research project. So an Adobe kiln transforms sand? Is that sand? Into stone, maybe? I'm not sure what these symbols represent. Workers don't like living near the Adobe kiln because of its fumes. Okay, let's pick our next research project. Looks like the only thing I can do so far is just increase the efficiency of the kiln, so I guess we'll do that. And then building placement. So people don't like living next to certain things, like the one I just finished researching. These are indicated with a red radius when you're placing them, so be careful in places far away from housing. You can also move any building by selecting the building and clicking the move icon. It can be helpful if you placed a dirty building near the housing blocks. Okay, so let's pause the game and learn how to place an adobe kiln. So where is that? Is it resource? Yes. Oh, so it costs 15 wood and 3 people. So I think I've got people assigned to be harvesters down here. So I think that's why the people showed up as red. And I don't know what this is. 2 up required? Is it altitude? Is it lift? Oh, okay. Gotcha. So it looks like I've got enough lift to support 40 pounds. It's not pounds. And I'm using 31 of that. So I think eventually maybe I'm going to have a stronger engine if I make this place bigger. So I can afford the lift. Can't afford the wood. I've got almost no wood. Okay, so it looks like what we need to do is find some wood. Where's some wood? Looking around. I love this very abstract map down below, by the way. It's really, really cool. Okay, right here. That's some wood. And so let's assign workers. Oh, all workers busy. Could be. Oh, do I need to actively unassign them here? I think I do. Okay, so I've unassigned them from that food because I've already got as much food as I can possibly have. And then let's reassign them here to the forest. And so now it's gonna, I believe we'll see some airplanes flying over. Oh no, because they were already down, I think they just scooted over and assigned their balloons here. But yeah, okay, no, you can see. Oh yeah, so the planes represent my workers going down there to work there. But it's going to take them time. They're going to go down there, they're going to spend some time there collecting the wood, then they got to fly back. So one thing I can do is move my entire city to be closer. And if the city moves to be closer, then it doesn't take them as long to harvest the wood. You can see, oh yeah, it looks like plus 35. Like, I think this is an estimate of how much wood I'm going to collect per day, maybe? Okay, 12 wood though, that's what I needed for the adobe. So we're going to let them keep doing more, but let's build that adobe kiln. Oh no, 15 wood, sorry. We're almost there. We're almost there. I should catch up with the chat here. Oh, so the tank is comparing this map to the opening credits of Game of Thrones, which I think is a really apt comparison. Yeah, that looks sort of like a clockwork toy. And this is really kind of similar. This does look like something you would sort of build on a desktop or on, you know, on your kitchen table or whatever, like a puzzle. And you can see that it's like everything looks like it's built out of these layers, these strata that you can see here, where it looks like just somebody's been stacking pieces of cardboard to build this thing, which is really cool. So Doja Cat memes asks, are there any other towns on land? Yes, there are towns. There are places like this where you can send a worker. Oh, this is a ruin, actually. Ooh. I'm going to send a worker to that ruin. But there are other... there are towns, and you can use those to recruit. Like I did not start with 12 people, which is what I currently have. Instead, I started with like 9 or something, and I recruited those remaining people. So I sent a worker down here to this relic to see what they find. I don't know even what I'm capable of getting there. So Lux Vibes had a question about State of Decay 3. They ask, how different is State of Decay 3 going to be from State of Decay 2? I really can't answer any questions about that. I do, it's just, I'll give you sort of a very rough set of brackets around what the problems that we're solving. I'm not going to give you any details about what we're actually doing, partly just because anything I said right now could change by the time the game comes out. State of Decay 3 is definitely going to still be a State of Decay game. I think that's sort of a no-brainer. I'm not revealing any secrets by saying that. It'll be State of Decay. But what is State of Decay? That's kind of a big, broad, open question. Because at the same time, I'm not on that team, but I would love it actually if State of Decay 3 was different enough that there was a reason why people would want to move on to try State of Decay 3, but might still want to keep playing State of Decay 2 because they offer subtly different experiences. So I'm hoping it ends up somewhere in that sort of area where it is definitely State of Decay, but also different enough that there's a reason why people might, still be into the old game. That's just my hopes and dreams. Again, I'm not revealing anything specific by saying that. So I hope you're fully unsatisfied by the answer to the question. So yeah, that is a little temple Doja Cat memes. Doja Cat memes asks, can your workers die like in accidents? That I can't tell you. I've not discovered whether they can or not. So it looks like, okay, relics were found. I don't know what they did though. What did we get out of the relics? No idea. Hey, there's a... Oh. Okay, it looks like... Okay, so I thought that they got all the wood out of here, but then the wood started coming back. That's actually kind of promising. That maybe I'm not just completely, scouring the world and removing everything good from it. But while they're down there, let's pause and actually try to build this kiln. Okay, so all of my housing blocks are over on the right side. And in order to build something, you have to have a path connecting it to the center. And so you can see, boink, like when I get close enough to the path, then it says, yes, you can place it here. It looks like my little circle here doesn't reach into the housing blocks. That's good. And I'm glad that I still have room to place it right against the center, because I think if I placed it out here somewhere, its weight would really cause some tilt. Because I'm pretty sure that, like, torque is a thing in this game. But I don't want to just slap it right here, though, because then I wouldn't be able to... I'm not sure if sort of the natural path that seems like it exists around this building actually counts. I don't know if I can just go building to building, or if I have to actually make a path myself. So I'm going to sort of err on the side of caution, and I'm going to draw a path up across here. And I should actually do the same thing on this side just to be safe. So it's giving me a speed thing here to remind me that I've got the game paused. I know that I've got the game paused. So, okay, so now let's build the kiln up against that. Okay, so I don't know if... Does it actually... I don't think it's showing the effects of the weight yet. But let's unpause and let my workers come out here and start building stuff. I love this little, like, aircraft carrier ramp that we've got to, like, launch the planes from and receive the planes from. Isn't that adorable? These little guys just moving around. They look like little sort of wooden block dolls, too. Just like the rest of this all feels like it's sort of carved out of wood and, like, watch pieces. So, Carrie McKinnon asks, is there any way you could add the Heartland map to the main game? Talking about State of Decay 2 again. Or the whole thing with the Plague Walls. The Plague Walls were built for a very specific experience in Heartland. It would be difficult to make those work in the core game, because none of those maps were built with choke points like that in mind. We'd have to make major changes to a map, I think, in order to support that. Okay, it looks like it didn't have much of a tilt effect. That's good. But there is a subtle... Wait, no, this is speed. Is it speed? I feel like I remember tilt being somewhere in the HUD. Maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, but we've definitely heard people. People have been saying ever since Heartland came out, they've been saying they would love to have a core map that reflected the Heartland map, and yeah, so we've heard that. Can't make any specific promises, but that is a piece of feedback we know that the audience is definitely making. All right, so it's reminding me about speed. I think let's see here. Oh, it's not talking about game speed. It's talking about the movement speed of my city. So I need to make propulsion buildings to be able to move again, to move fast again after I've filled up the city with buildings. So you're continually using resources like coal, which I think this is coal. Food and water. The faster you travel, less time it takes to get places, the fewer resources you'll use along the way. Okay, so I'm going to need to get... Apparently, I'm going to need to get to places a lot. And I don't want to be wasting a bunch of time sucking a bunch of resources on the way there. So I'm going to upgrade the town center to go faster. Okay, so that's interesting. This makes this game actually kind of remind me a lot of, what's it called? Frostpunk. It reminds me of Frostpunk. Because they've got a central building that you have to upgrade in order to sort of perform the most basic task of your community. So if my coal ever depletes, our home will fall to the ground. Yeah, very similar to Frostpunk. By the way, I'm seeing a little bit of like low frame rate on my preview in OBS. Let me know if you're actually getting bad performance on the stream as well, or if it's just something to do with my preview here. So Okay, so how do I upgrade the town center? I don't actually see a way to do that. I feel like I might want to be able to collect more food and stuff. They haven't warned me about it yet, though. I feel like I should march through the tutorial, though they want me to. So panel, bullet, hover. What is this? Hover my mouse along the top bar will show information panels, but not when there's a dialogue box up. Okay. Oh, interesting. So I can like hover over my workers and actually click on the things. Oh, that's kind of cool. And I can just like zoom to the things that they're doing. Oh, that's neat. Okay, cool. I like it when games sort of like almost overdo it with all the access they give you in their UI. Okay, so we've been paused for a while. I need to figure out what I want to go, where I want to go next, what I want to do next. I don't know what I got out of that relic. Maybe some research? I don't know. Let's look around here. So, I mean, we've got this Adobe thing. I don't even know if I have any clay. Okay, so this is Adobe. We make clay into Adobe. I don't think I have any clay. So I think I've got this Adobe kiln. People are working in it, doing absolutely nothing. So let's send some people out there. And can I... I don't know if it says 5 workers are assigned. Are they just assigned automatically to this? Because it doesn't seem like there's a way to reduce the number of workers that I've assigned to that. But let's head over to where we get the clay and see if we can start making some Adobe. Maybe that'll unlock some new building options. So I like it when people in the chat are expressing sort of their attachment to the character Lily from State of Decay. Carrie McKinnon is suggesting that like maybe if you accomplished a certain amount of plague heart annihilation, maybe you get some more backstory from Lily. Providing more backstory about Lily or from Lily does seem like a thing that a lot of members of our audience I think would be into. So we'll definitely keep that in mind. Yeah, Lux Vibe says, when Twain said she was dying, I was sad. Yeah, Lily has had kind of a, short life expectancy for the entire series thus far. She's always been talking about the fact that she's got this, autoimmune disease that risks causing her some serious problems, and she doesn't. It's hard to treat things like that in the apocalypse. But so far, she's been a trooper. She's been holding out for a while, and hope she gets to continue doing that. Artist is complaining about Lily talking too much. She doesn't talk too much in State of Decay 2. I think you need to sort of, forgive her for all the talking she did long ago. It's been a long time. She doesn't talk that much anymore. All right, so now I'm getting closer to this town because I'd like to show you what happens in a town. Kingdom of Rutula. Oh, interesting. Okay, this is I've had a town I could recruit from before. I don't think I've had this many options. To fulfill the prophecy, so the prophecy is that the Airborne Kingdom will come back, and so we're trying to fulfill that prophecy. We must have Rutula allied with us. Our machines awe the crowds and give us an audience with the Queen. So yeah, so I think your long-term goal is to sort of like unite all of the sort of the fractured kingdoms around and sort of build an empire, build this city to inspire and attract all of these people as sort of allies or vassals, and sort of rebuild the sort of this bygone great kingdom of legend. Okay, so you can look for quests, blueprints, or resources. So let's look at blueprints first. We search for technologies in the depths below Rutula. We must pay to have them excavated. And to work in the sky, we must research what we find further. These would be a start. So I get a glass smelter, but workers don't like living near it. I could get a vertical rotor, which I need more diamonds to buy, or a propeller. Okay, so if I want to improve my propulsion, I need more diamonds, which I don't know where I get that. I don't know why I already have 2, honestly. I could grab the glass smelter now, but I don't know how easy it is to get these diamonds, and I feel like propulsion might be cool. So I'm gonna wait before I grab any of these. Let's look at quests. They seek our assistance for an important task. The Queen tells the great conservatory is in ruin. If only we could find the resources and lend some of our workforce to its reconstruction. Completing such requests is the first step to gaining a kingdom's trust, and eventually reconnecting them together to establish the prophecy once more. Okay, so with 10 wood, which we've got, and 2 adobe, which we also have. Oh, coincidentally, I've got exactly what they need. So, yeah. Cool, so we're going to start that. It's taking some of my resources, but that's fine. And so I don't have any to barter, so I'm not going to bother with the market. But let's look at the market and see what it seems like. Okay. Okay, so we can... Oh, looks like okay. Looks like they've repurposed sort of their like simple choice-making dialogue system to be also a trade system. So I choose what I want to buy first. Like let's say I wanted to buy food. Oh, okay. So I choose the resource I want, and then I have to give them other things in order to pay for it. And it's going to be like a different exchange rate for... Okay. Fascinating. Okay, it sounds like something that... It feels like the kinds of trades you'd be doing here, like the kinds of trades you do around the table in a game of Settlers of Catan or something like that, where it's like big, chunky, like, I need this and I have this type trades. Not like you would just sort of like use... There's some games where you just can use money as a bludgeon, like, for instance, State of Decay 2. Sometimes you can use money as a bludgeon to solve your problems. It looks like that's not how this is. It's much more like arbitrage. Okay, so let's not grab a blueprint yet. But we are helping with the conservatory. That's nice of us. We are now low on wood and things. So let's... oh, that's an empty forest. Okay. Is this also an empty forest? Yes. Well, I think I'm going to need some more wood. So... Do I need to... Okay, so... I think this might happen whether I'm close or not, so maybe I can sort of wander off. How am I doing on water? Oh, I'm low on water. Let's go... How do I free up some workers? What are my workers doing? So, we've got 2 on a quest, 2 going to the Oasis. Do I have to have that many people working in the academy? Can I slow that down? Where is... Okay, it's tracking my research here. Looks like I'm almost done with that. Can I decide to have fewer people working here? Or is there a different... Is there a different place I can mess with my population? Or is it just basically always going to take 5 workers? Well, there we go. Okay, so I guess we'll start the next one. And then once I'm done with this, I will want to buy a blueprint of some kind. But maybe it just takes 5 people whenever I'm working on something, and that's just it. That's just, yep, that's the cost. 5 people. Okay, so with our resources and labor, the conservatory, again, is whole. Upon seeing our efforts, a couple of locals join our cause, agreeing to take part in our great council. Yet the great conservatory is still withered, its grove rotted. The queen asks us to find a sapling from the golden trees of Kaldar to replant their once bountiful gardens. The exact whereabouts of these trees is unknown, but their rumored location is marked on our map. Okay, so interesting, they can send us on FedEx quests because our city can move. Alright, you know what? I'm going to grab a blueprint while I'm here. Let's just grab the one we can afford. And then hopefully I'll figure out... Okay, so Kingdoms and Allegiances. Let's read about this in the tutorial. So, to recreate the legendary Airborne Kingdom, you must ally with all 12 kingdoms. Perhaps allying will get you something in return. Oh, to complete it, you must also have a population of 150 people. I've got 14. Okay, so first off, I got 14 people. I need to house those people. So let's build some paths to extend our little housing area. And let's build some housing. Oh, that costs 5 wood. Okay, so let's... So we're not going to be able to build the housing until we have wood. Oops. Yeah, so let's move closer to the water. We need to refill our water. So let's do that first, but I'll start scouting around and looking for a place to get some wood, like over here. Okay, so we'll stop by here first, try to get enough water to keep us going, but then we're going to go and grab some wood and finish building some houses for our people. Connor Pebble asks, are you interested in Back for Blood? So I've started playing co-op games a little bit more recently. Since my sister and I, we both live in town. We used to, hang out a lot together, but because of the disease, we've been avoiding each other. We've actually started playing co-op games a lot more, and so that makes me more interested in co-op games that are out there. And so yeah, I remember loving the original Left 4 Dead back when it was, when it was brand new. I don't know if I'm like talented enough to be able to enjoy a game that's as hard and fast paced as that, but I'd like to imagine that I can. I'm definitely going to try it out, of course. The Tank asks, when are we going to get a sweet mobile game, State of Decay, like Fallout Shelter with scavenge expeditions, crafting? I'd love to do something like that. Honestly, actually, the thing that made me want to join Undead Labs was because at my previous studio, which was a mobile studio, I was in the back of my mind sort of like kind of on a low level planning the zombie apocalypse mobile game that I wanted to make, and then when I saw what Undead Labs was working on, I was like, oh, can I just come and work on that with you? Because State of Decay was basically exactly the kind of game I wanted to make. So I definitely see the potential for a game like that on mobile. Mobile games is not really what we're focused on though. I mean, we're very much, we're a Microsoft studio. We're focused on providing games for Game Pass. And so I think it would be a stretch for us to make a State of Decay mobile game with our current sort of priorities. Oh, okay. So relics, I guess, are these little diamondy things. So maybe if I find more places like this, that's where I'm going to get those diamonds that I can buy blueprints with. Have I already finished my research? Nope. All right. So once we get close enough, there we go. So we're going to send people down to the forest to collect some wood. That will allow us to... Wait, what will that allow us to do? I forgot what I was doing with wood. One crazy idea I had for State of Decay 2 back in the day, long before we actually started really going into production of the game, was, wouldn't it be fun if we made a game where the strategic level of the game was interesting and complicated enough we could actually break that out into a mobile game and just have you only play the strategic level of the game without the action on mobile. But we didn't end up making a game that would work really well that way. But it was kind of a fun thing to imagine, actually, just at the beginning. So, okay, so now we're going to add housing. Notice, by the way, that when I put this building here, the other buildings scooch over to meet it. Like, they actually... they have buildings be aware of their context. You're not just placing a bunch of tiles down. The tiles, what's on the tiles actually shifts as you build more things. Which kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes the place feel a little bit more rational, a little bit more lived in. Yeah, that's true. The Tank is pointing out that because of remote play and eventually xCloud, it'll actually be possible to play Xbox games on your mobile device anyway. So, yeah, so you don't necessarily need to make a dedicated mobile State of Decay 2. All right, so I think, what is this? This is, oh, coal. I should get some coal. In fact, this is also coal, isn't it? Okay, all my workers are busy, but once we're full up on wood... You know, maybe I should preemptively just make some more housing. Just because, I mean, eventually I'm going to be grabbing some more people, right? So might as well just, you know, build some more housing. And also because, you know, I'm going to be filling up my entire storage with wood, so might as well use it. All right, so now let's grab some coal while we're here. Oh, but that's right, I was sent... Oh, lift. Okay, so I'm starting to exhaust my lift. Okay, so I must place buildings that generate lift to counteract it. Carefully place your lift buildings to keep your kingdom in balance. Note that while other buildings pull their side of the kingdom down, lift buildings will push it up. Okay, so one thing I needed to do was, I think this is where I am. There was a settlement I already grabbed from. So is this? That must be the location of the mission that they sent me on. So I should head over that direction. So I've headed over this direction because for some reason I decided I needed wood. And so right now I don't actually have propulsion buildings. I need to get some more relics so that I can afford that. But yeah, so now is there a way to like... Okay, so I can click this to show which icon represents this. That's right. Oh, you know, I was getting wood to build those houses. That's what I was doing. Okay, cool. Anyway. All right, so it looks like it's off in this direction. So I guess I will just sort of click over here. Yeah, we're full up on coal. We don't need to harvest this coal anymore. Let's just go and... Hey, everybody. Get back inside. And so now that people... Maybe... Oh, okay. The fact that I had everybody working downstairs, is that why they weren't constructing the buildings yet? Because I didn't have free workers? It's interesting. This is kind of a meeple management game. You know, you're sort of deciding where your people are. Oh, I'm missing some path here. Boink. Boink. There we go. Oh, interestingly, so when you start moving the camera around, you can, you know, you're moving separately from your city. But once you go into construction mode, it locks you to your city so that you can consistently place things without sort of having to chase the city with your cursor. That's a subtle effect, but it's cool. Hey there, Jesse Baker. Thanks for joining us. Normally I watch my clock to sort of figure out how long I've been streaming, but because we had such a huge conversation before I even started the Airborne Kingdom video, I have no idea how long I've been making this Airborne Kingdom video. It's less than an hour, but I don't know how much less than an hour. If you're watching this on YouTube later, it will be obvious to you, so you know more than I do. Right, so food isn't doing that great, but it's still fine. I guess I could collect a little bit of coal, but I don't really need to. Like, I should definitely grab a few resources in passing while I'm hovering over them. It's interesting. It's like I want to, you know, be efficient with my time and my speed. So it's like I don't want to stop and pick up this stuff. But if I can just set a few planes down to grab a little bit of resources before I've just gone too far away. That's interesting. It's like I've got weird concerns with this game, things I have to think about that I don't have to think about in other city builders. That's kind of what you want when you're sort of entering a crowded genre and you're trying to stand out. So you got to come up with the reason why your weird game, why your weird game is going to add something, not just, you know, like they didn't want to just be a city builder in a different place. You have to think about, you know, what is it about this new setting that they're creating, this new sort of theme that we're creating that's going to make the experience actually different, the strategic, you know, experience different. Interesting thing too. So looks like my city actually stopped when it was when it was going to get too far away from the resources that it had people collecting. I was wondering if it was just going to keep moving and abandon the resource, like have the planes come back and give up, but actually did the opposite. It stopped the city so that the planes wouldn't have to stop. Okay, so because of the drag in our buildings, we can only move at 41% of our fastest possible speed. So I need to add propulsion buildings to increase this amount. Okay, cool. Oh, and I've got 4 relics. Okay, so it looks like I get more than one whenever I investigate one of those little temple-y type places. One of those ruins. What's this place? A settlement. Okay, I can get some more people there. Actually, why don't I head that way first? I'll hit this place, try to get some more people, and maybe some more food while I'm at it. Actually, let's go between the two so I can get people and food. And then I'll get the wood, and then I'll go, I think it's like up here someplace. Some more relics and things too, but up here someplace is where they wanted me to go to get that thingy, whatever the MacGuffin is right now. Connor Pribble, yeah, I think there was a lot of sort of, there was some thought early on that in State of Decay 2 we wanted to make it more of a meeple management game, more of a, you know, assign this person here to do this job, and the job will be done differently than if you had assigned somebody else there. That ended up being a level of complexity we couldn't really go to with this version of the game, but I can see the attraction of that. I wanted it too. I kind of like the idea of a meeple management game where you really have to think about, well, okay, I want this person to do this job, but then they would also be good at doing this other job. I've got to decide which of these jobs is more important. I need to put the best person for them into that slot. Like that sort of having to strategize about the value of people is cool and very appropriate to a game like State of Decay. Okay, so there are some like specific people here that you can decide that are named that you can decide to recruit. Okay, so this person will only join us if we're jubilant, which we are. Jubilant is the level of morale that we're at. I think that's morale. I don't know. So basically, if I'm not meeting their requirements, then it'll tell them why they won't join, and I can go try to meet those requirements in order to earn them, which is kind of a neat way to think of it. Like that's not the way we do recruitment in State of Decay 2, but it's a cool way to do recruitment, and it makes me sort of, yeah, I feel like I should mention this to other people at the studio. Anyway, so these settlements, that's what they're for, is for recruiting people. So now I've got more people, which means they're going to eat more. So let's send some folks down here to collect some food. Oh, so I can't do 7 because I don't have enough. Actually, let's have a couple people go here. So I'll need to build another hangar if I want to have enough planes to send people downstairs. And we're collecting a bunch of resources up here. That's good. We're kind of prepared for whatever the next thing we need to do is. So yeah, our food's filling up. That's good. Eventually, so maybe I should build like a food storage building so I can be more resilient to long-term travel. So if I build a food silo, maybe I'll put my storage on this angle here. So yeah, we'll get a food silo going. Okay, it looks like we've... Yeah, let's sit here for a little bit, collect these resources, and then let's look ahead. Ooh, it's a oh, interesting. Oh, is this where they sent me to the Golden Grove? Right. These are the golden trees of Kaldaur. We harvest a sapling, careful not to disturb the grove that remains. We must return it to the kingdom of Rutula. Okay. So do I have it now? Did I just have I done it? Okay, yeah, it looks like we have. Cool. So that was instantaneous. I thought it might take time, but it looks like it doesn't. Well, let's keep filling up our food, keep filling up our wood for a sec before we move on. I can imagine this game getting pretty dire, like say your water goes to 0 and you don't notice, and you're too far away from an oasis to do anything about it. Lux Vibes, we don't usually talk in like super high detail about the size of our studio, except in just very broad terms. We're not like a small indie studio. We're not just like a dozen people, but we're also not like a massive like Take-Two or Ubisoft studio with hundreds of people. We're somewhere in the middle, where it's like we're. I feel like by making a sort of high-profile open world game, we are kind of trying to punch above our weight class because most of the other folks in that genre have larger teams than we do, but we are capable of like larger ambitions than say if we were a small indie team of just a couple dozen people, which is what built the original State of Decay. A nearby thicket has been fully harvested and reseeded. It will regrow in time. Okay, so they're assuring me that even though I collected all the food in this location, I'm going to be able to get it back. Okay, so should I stick around here long enough to get the rest of this wood? I think I probably should. There's a bunch of wood over here too. Oh, and a place to get relics. Okay, I wonder, if I go here, will I be able to reach both? Can I go here now? It's too far right now. So yeah, so let's try to split the difference here. Move my city halfway between the wood that I'm still working on and this opportunity to grab a relic. Because if I can get a couple more of these diamondy things, I can afford to grab those propulsion buildings, the blueprints for the propulsion buildings over in Rutula. And that's, I think, my goal right now, is to sort of learn how that works. Lux Vibe says, man, I'm learning so much about Undead Labs. Yeah, I hope I'm not revealing too much. I don't think anything I've said has been secret. Oh, yeah, I definitely need some more lift before I can build anything else, so. Okay, are we too far still? Nope, I can send a worker now. And should I grab a little bit of water while I'm here? Oh, I need to, okay, let's free up some aircraft. These guys are almost done over here, so let's free them up to come over there. All right, so we're gonna, among our resources, water is the lowest. Like, at least among our essential resources, water is the lowest. So we'll make sure we're grabbing some of that. Okay, it looks like, I think this plane is coming back from the relic ruin. So let's see if it gives me this. Okay, it's landed. No? Yes, it did. Okay, oh, sweet. It got 4. That's pretty good. It's a nice place. Okay, so I think this plus 10.8, I'm not sure what it represents. I think it might be, this is the amount of the resource that my people are currently mining that they're going to transport back. Like, I'm about to get 10.8 water from the people who are down here, which is, more than I can store. Well, that's fine. It does make me wonder if it's worthwhile for me to start building, like, an additional water tower. Oh, not enough lift. That's right. I need to get the propulsion buildings before I can. All right. Well, it looks like we're pretty close to full up, so probably close enough anyway. So let's head back to Rutula. Now that okay, so since I've got people on the ground already, and I just gave that order, does that mean that I'm going to automatically abandon these places, or am I going to stop as soon as I get out of range? I think what we've learned is that I'm going to stop. Unless I just divest myself of these investments. Yeah, let's just do that, actually. Let's just divest myself of these things. So now nothing's holding me back. We can get over to Rutula, and let's see how fast I can move. So I just raised my speed because I'm not going to really be doing anything in the interim. So let's get there as fast as we can. I'm at 39% speed because I'm so heavy, but hopefully with these propulsion buildings I can research. I still have to research them. That's still going to take some time, but yeah, that'll be good. Lux Vibes asks, were the voice actors of State of Decay part of the studio, or did you hire them? So the original State of Decay did feature one of our staff as a voice actor. That's Brant Fitzgerald, played Alan and Doghouse in the original State of Decay. But that was when we were not a union shop. And so anybody who wanted to could be an actor in our game, because we were just a small indie project, and When I say we, I wasn't working there at the time. I started working on Undead Labs right after State of Decay 1 shipped. But then, yeah, then all the other actors were actors. And the way that the voice actors work is you don't hire them full-time, typically, unless there are particular studios that actually do have full-time actors working with them, but they're very, very rare and special. Like, I think that Supergiant, for instance, I think that the voice of Supergiant might actually have some kind of long-term deal working with Supergiant. That's very rare. Usually actors do tend to be, they tend to sort of work job to job, trying to, they've got an agent and they're trying to find work here and there, and each job they complete, they got to go find the next job. That's sort of what an actor's life is like. And so we hire actors who, they have other jobs that they do as well, but we hire them for specific sessions. And usually, like when we're coming up with a feature that requires voiceover, we'll schedule a bunch of sessions with these actors, get them into the studio, and it'll just be a couple of days work for them, but then we'll have a bunch of their VO, which we can then use, and then that actor will go off and do other jobs until we need them again. But sometimes it can be tough. Like, for instance, I think one of the voice actors who played one of the playable characters recently passed away, and we had to recast the part with somebody who could do a good impression of the previous actor. That can't happen when you've got a game that you're supporting long term. It's like you can't always predict what's going to happen in the lives of your actors, whether they're going to just not be available for a particular thing, or if they're going to pass away. Or in the case of the actress who played the original Lily Ritter, she moved to Sweden and has a job, working, I think, for a game developer out there, and doing a different job other than voice acting. And so she wasn't available for us to be able to record her, and so we got a sound-alike for Lily for State of Decay 2. But that sound-alike is actually doing a great job. It sounds just like Lily. I cannot tell the difference between the original lines and the other lines, so very well done, that actress. Anyway, so we're here at Rutula. Let's see if we can complete this thing. So, new groves spring nearby, which we can harvest for trees. Okay, so, interesting. So because we brought them that golden tree, this kingdom has gotten more advanced and powerful and gives us more options. And then, so then 3 of them came and joined us. So with the grove we planted, the Rutulans are convinced of our prophecy. They agree to ally with us. To seal our allegiance, we must build a skyport to connect their kingdom with our own. So that's going to cost 20 of this, 10 of this, which I've got. So yeah, let's make a skyport. And then let's grab some blueprints. I think we can afford both of these. And then, is there anything we need to buy? I don't think so. I don't think we're really super duper low on anything we care about right now. So, yeah, let's just go back to our home. So, research. We're currently researching efficiency. And we could do a glass smelter. What I really... Oh, wait. Okay, so I'm not seeing the propulsion buildings here. Oh, because it's a different category of the research. Our workers have completed the skyport. We've got another ally. That's awesome. Oh, okay. So here, we're just breaking out of what we're doing. And we're seeing that, okay, we've gathered one of these kingdoms into our fold. That's cool. Great. Love it. They offer to supply us with 1 wood every hour. Okay, so we've got an ongoing wood income now. And they're connected to this guy. So basically, they are shipping this wood to us. We don't have to worry about it. That's pretty cool. One last forgotten myth of the ancients and their knowledge. For the legends say the Airborne Kingdom housed 3 distinct wonders atop its flying platform. Each wonder shone with splendor and imbued great knowledge and ability to its builders. Yet when that great capital disappeared, these wonders were lost as well. The tales say they were scattered to the winds, and their pieces lay among the lands. Perhaps in finding some of the lost parts, we can rebuild these wonders. We gather every detail about their functions and rumored whereabouts. Okay, so let's go back to our home. We're now known as the Airborne Community, which I imagine will eventually graduate towards the Airborne Kingdom. As our community grows, doubts and fears begin to form among the migrants from other kingdoms. How can we survive in the skies forever? Traditional believers in the light, the people that are worried that they've lost its guidance, both physically and spiritually, they need these desires fulfilled. We must shine lights on all our paths to make our people feel safe when walking in the skies, or we can build centers of faith so that the light may guide them spiritually. These constructions will help provide our inhabitants' desires. We know of neither construction at the start of our journey, but surely other kingdoms have ideas we can research in the skies. Okay, cool. So basically, as we progress, our citizens are going to gain more needs. Only 20 houses. Okay, they're going to gain more needs, and then we have to satisfy those needs. We have to keep going and finding more kingdoms. That's how you want to structure a game like this. A game that's very dependent on resources. Is you want to have the player only need a small number of resources early on, so you can teach them about a small number of resources early on, and they can sort of grok it all. And then once they've gotten used to that, once they understand those resources, then you introduce new needs and new resources to fulfill those new needs. And that's something that we do a little bit of in State of Decay 2, but it's not as well thought through, I think, as it is in some other games. Because you do start out only needing food, really, but then as you start, your ambitions climb, you start wanting fuel, you start wanting ammo, you start needing materials to maintain larger buildings, and they do sort of come in one at a time, but we introduce them to you all at once. And so we don't sort of benefit from that very small brain space that our systems take up that sort of grows over time as you get accustomed to it. We kind of drop you into the deep end at the beginning, which, I feel like that could have been better thought through, and playing games like this sort of helps me realize how important that is. So, okay. It's interesting how when you pause, some things keep moving, like these balloons. Because these balloons, they're not doing anything mechanical, or, at the end, they're just there for visuals, and so they don't pause the balloons when I pause. They do pause my city and its movements. All right, so it looks like I'm going to want to research a propeller. Oh, wait, current progress will be lost? I don't want to lose the... Okay, well, I guess I got to keep researching this. All right, so I'm going to set some goals for my next session, which is I'm going to finish this because I sunk cost fallacy. I can't give it up. Then the next thing I'm going to research is this propeller so that I can start advancing my kingdom here. And I'm wondering, so does that provide lift though? Let's look at this. Yes, I've got no propulsion devices that I can build. I have to research them first. Oh, lift is its own thing. Okay, vertical rotor. That's the first thing I want because I need more lift in order to support a bigger city. So this is what I'm going to want. Lift and propulsion are different. Got it. Okay, so this will research in 2 hours. I assume that's not literal hours. I assume that's game hours, whatever that is. And then how much time is left with this? Can it tell? 10 hours. Okay, so I got to finish... It's a late, looks like it's a late game research thing. It's further down the chain. It's going to take a while, but once it's done, it should be quick to get this lift thing, which is the main thing I really want. So I guess we'll just sort of hover and survive for a little bit until we're ready to do the thing we really want to do. Okay, but I think I'm going to pause it there. Because we've been, this is a pretty healthy session. I do want to move on to playing some other games tonight, so I can make some other videos. But that's Airborne Kingdom, and I'm pretty happy with it actually. Like it started out pretty straightforward and simple, and it didn't seem like there was much to it. But the deeper I explore it, the more new mechanics they introduce steadily one at a time, which is how a game like this should work. And so I'm really interested in seeing how the complexity builds over time and what this game eventually turns into. But for right now, let's wrap up this video. You can subscribe if you want. Join the 1,000 of people who have subscribed to my channel now. Thanks to Brian Menard, by the way, for driving people over here. I really appreciate that.